What's going on, everybody? Alongside Amir, it's your new host of the Ball Does Lie podcast, Brendon. And we have a new format for you guys this week. We're calling this Kill the Interruption. Amir and I will take 8 topics for each and go through what our thoughts are and run through this like a standard rundown here. So excited to start this format with you, Amir. And to start things off, obviously, to kind of continue our conversation we had last week, Nico Harrison officially fired by the Dallas Mavericks. Can't say it's a surprise to anybody who's been paying attention to the NBA. Luka Doncic had this to say in his presser when asked about the firing. He says, quote, "The city of Dallas, the fans, the players, they'll always have a special place in my heart. I thought I was going to be here forever, but I'm not. So that will always be a special place for me. I will always call this home. But right now I'm focused on the Lakers and trying to move on. But obviously, there will always be a part of me in Dallas." Pretty insane. We're 9 months since that trade, Amir. Do you have any final thoughts to kind of put a bow on this explosive topic?
Really good timing since we filmed our first episode on Sunday together, and that was one of our main topics that we focused on. Kudos to Luka for being a standout professional, not talking crap on Nico, saying this guy's a freaking moron and an idiot and deserves to get fired for trading me and being an egomaniac, which he could have totally been. But no surprise here that he got fired. In my opinion, probably top 3 worst trade in NBA history, probably the worst one ever. I can't think of any other ones that are worse, so I'll just say top 3. Seems completely rigged, in my opinion. Like there's no real truth or reason why a NBA GM who you would think would have the IQ like to get that far in his career to actually be a GM of a basketball team would make such a stupid decision, thinking it was a win now move and thinking that Luka Doncic, who at the time when he traded him was still top 3, top 5 player in the league, even if he might have been a little overweight, enjoy drinking some beers after games, thinking that, this guy's career could be in jeopardy because of that, and wanted to trade for a guy who's made out of glass in Anthony Davis. So I think one of the worst trades in NBA history, but also I think he's a scapegoat, honestly, because he brought the idea. And if you're a real president of basketball operations and also the owner of the team, Dumont, if you thought it was outlandish, which they should have vetoed that immediately, because ultimately he's the general manager. And again, you have to go through the president of basketball operations and the owner to get this trade finalized. So they were part of that process. So the fact that they signed off on that is equally their fault. So I think he's a scapegoat. And it's just insane to me that the league allowed this to happen, where he traded only with the Lakers, had a conversation at night, didn't say that he was going to be on the market, and traded him to the Lakers to his friend, right? Like specifically. So it just seems very fishy to me.
Insane. I mean, this guy, Nico, not only lost Luka or traded away Luka, decided not to bring back Jalen Brunson, doesn't bring back Porzingis as well. I mean, he's going to be defined as a guy who just let a lot of insane talent get away from him.
The Brunson piece is worse though, because Porzingis is made out of glass also. You know what I mean? He's like Anthony Davis. Like
that one's a bit more understandable in terms of Porzingis, yeah. And to be fair too, I don't think many people saw Brunson being as insanely good as he is now. We all knew he was good, but I mean, he is a legitimate top 10 NBA guy, which I don't think a lot of people would have thought. All right, well, that leads us right into our next topic here. What's next for AD? A lot of speculation over his future. Couple posts of him not looking so in shape, which is a bit ironic. So what do you think is next for AD here, Amir?
Well, do you think those pictures were true? Or are they like Harden? Remember the Harden?
No,
like,
I don't think. I think those pictures, no pun intended, carry no weight. There's no need to read into those.
I saw that. It looked ridiculous. Well, one, yeah, it's unfortunate right now that he has a calf injury, and we know that Nico also wanted to try to bring him back early. And after last playoffs, we saw all the superstars and star players have calf injuries that turn into Achilles tears. And so basically the ownership was like, we don't want to push him to come back. And he was trying to push AD to come back as well. So I think that was kind of like the final straw. I don't know. Honestly, like his contract is hard to move. He's going to be making like he signed like a 3-year, $175 million extension. So I think he's making like 50, 52, and 58 or so over the next 3 seasons, including this season. So that's going to be a hard contract to move. I can see him though wanting to go to a contender because they're not going to be a contender. Even with Kyrie Irving coming back next year, he's going to be also, 33, 34, coming off an ACL. Kyrie's had multiple big injuries in his career as well. So, like, him and AD are getting older. Cooper Flag is not going to be ready. They don't have the right pieces to contend. So, I think he might get traded, honestly, if possible. It might be difficult again because, like, matching the salaries with all the apron and the tax implications for teams. I heard the Bulls are rumored they were interested in the past and wanted to acquire him before he went to the Los Angeles Lakers, and so that could be fun seeing him on a young up and coming team that doesn't have a star player that's playing pretty decently well so far this season. They start off really hot, but they're coming back down to earth. But I mean, he's 32, and I don't think he's washed. I think he's just made out of glass. Like, he's still capable of averaging like 22, 23 points per game. I would say anywhere from 8 to 10 rebounds, a couple assists, a block, a steal. Like, put him on a contender, let him play 50 to 60 games, hopefully load managed, which I hate, until the playoffs to keep him fresh. I think he is going to get traded, but maybe not this season. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think maybe by next season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I honestly, I really have no idea what's gonna happen with AD. If I'm a Mavs fan, I'm kind of hoping we just blow this up now, and because I think they have their pick this year. Let's try to get back in that lottery and start building for the future. And I'm honestly kind of looking at Kyrie as well, thinking what's our plan here with Kyrie. And if I'm Kyrie, I'm also thinking, what do I want to be here in Dallas? If I'm him, I don't at this point. Yeah, pretty insane. The Mavericks, I think, they've gone from a team that was going to be perennially in it with Luka to then the trade happens. They get the number one pick on a 1% chance. Cooper Flag makes the roster at least a little enticing, a little interesting. Maybe they could be frisky. But it's just completely fallen apart in Dallas, and I feel pretty bad for those fans. I really do. I feel bad for you Mavs fans. I'm sorry.
Maybe Anthony Davis can get traded back to the Lakers for Rui Hashimura and Gabe Vincent and a second round pick,
Well,
right?
you know who would fit really well with the Lakers would be a healthy AD. Wouldn't that be something?
For sure. All right, so for the next segment, we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings, which is your favorite team for some reason.
Shout out Mike
So
Ryder. Shout out Mike Ryder.
there we go.
Father.
So the Sacramento Kings are a mess. They're 3-7, I believe. They're headed into another rebuild. And ahead of the season, I think just all Sacramento Kings fans and probably yourself and your father wondered, what exactly are the Kings' plans? Like, with a big three of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis, like, the Sacramento Kings effectively reassembled a new version of a Chicago Bulls team that was a perennial play-in team that, of course, flamed out. And so, Brendon, do you expect the Kings to have a fire sale soon?
I do. I think all reports also indicate they're going to blow this thing up. And just a really sad looking roster. But if you if you go down the list, where's the trade value? I think on any of these guys,
Sabonis?
Demar, you know, aging mid range player who's great. I think Demar could definitely help a contending team. But when you got 24.5 million on your cap, it's going to be fine to kind of get you a contending looking team. Levine, all indications say no one is interested in Levine, especially with his 47 million he's collecting this year. But I don't know. I'm a little more bullish on Zach. I think Levine is a really natural scorer, and if he's just put in kind of the right situation and the right infrastructure, I think he could be a very additive player. Bit inefficient, bit of a volume scorer, but the guy's also a microwave. Like he can definitely fill it up. And then Demontis, I think Demontis is just going to be banished in Sacramento for his career. I hope he gets a chance to go somewhere, but he to me he seems like he's going to be just a king for life. I think the big thing with this current roster too is and what Doug Christie's doing with their rotations has been very odd. Not quite sure what they're doing with my boy Russell Westbrook. He clearly at least gives your team or this team the best chance to at least compete. And they've been shaving his minutes down. And when they do get Keegan Murray back, there's no indication they're going to put Russ in the starting lineup with Schroeder and Keegan. They're just an absolute mess of an organization, and it's been that way really since they lost that conference finals game, I believe it was, or semifinals game against the good old Timberwolves when Sam Cassell hit that shot in the corner. That was game 2, but did the big balls dance on the Kings, and they haven't recovered since.
I don't think they've recovered since they lost to the Lakers in Game 7, and that was it 2001?
It was 01, 02, yeah. That
Oh,
was
102?
yeah, that good old Donahue. But they could have won Game 7. They still had their chances, but
They did.
no, the Kings are a joke. They'll always be a joke until things change at the top. I don't know if you heard Boogie Cousins' comments on it, but I thought he had some good perspective.
I did not, but we'll see. Anything's possible. Like our boy Kevin Garnett has said, many things are possible. I don't know about the Kings being a contender ever again, but hey, they broke the streak of what 15, 16 years of not making the playoffs. Like De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis took them to the playoffs a couple of years ago. You guys lit the beam for one series or so, right? So anything's possible, but
Yeah, to go from Halliburton and De'Aaron as your backcourt to what they have now is, you want to talk about depressing. Sorry, Mavs fans, I don't know what I was talking about. I'm definitely in a more depressive state than you guys, but
I mean, Dennis Schroeder, man,
God,
German
why he
national.
just he needs it to just be FIBA basketball. I don't know what
Exactly.
we
That's what
need
I'm
him to
saying.
just think this is international ball. He is a monster with Germany, but then when I don't know, I don't know. I mean, it is a totally different game. I will say that, but just interesting what kind of player he turns into when he gets into the league.
It's got that national pride. Doesn't have any pride to play in the Kings or the 18 other teams, the 18 other shitty teams that he's been on. So, switching gears. So, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies are not on the same page. And the team has recently suspended him. I think it was last week. And they were saying that he made comments that were detrimental to the team. And um, he also told the media that he's lost his joy after the Grizzlies dropped 3 straight games. Has that extended? I don't even know, but I know last week they lost 3 straight games. So this reminded me of Jimmy Butler basically in his press conference when he stood in the corner and basically wasn't trying, saying that he lost his joy, um, and that his role diminished and has changed. And then a few hours later requested a trade. So this has not happened yet from Ja Morant. He has not requested a trade, but teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves and I believe your Sacramento Kings have checked in about a possible trade for Ja Morant, according to the Athletics' John Krasinski. So, Brendon, do you think that Ja Morant gets traded by the deadline, or do you think he'll remain with the Grizzlies? Not just this year, or just in general.
I I think he'll finish the year with the Grizzlies. I don't think Memphis is in any need to rush and trade him. Now, things are pretty dire, but I think you wait at least until the end of this season to really blow it up and reevaluate what you have on your roster. The decline of Ja over the last year and a half, 2 years has just been so crazy to witness. He's gone from basically next in line to be the face of the NBA with Tatum and Anthony Edwards to now I don't even know what comparison to really put him at. Like maybe a little reminiscent of like a Steve Francis, just insane talent, but just can't quite put it together. And
More than that, though,
yeah, exactly.
higher level than Stevie
Yeah, he
franchise. But
definitely is
yeah,
a level above Steve Francis. Like he was a guy 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, when they went on their playoff run. When he's on your roster, he's on your team. You just put so much pressure on the defense, and he just kind of puts your team in a great position to score, whether he's has the ball or off ball. And so this contention that he has with the Grizzlies has been odd because I thought Taylor Jenkins was a great coach for him, played him to his strengths, which again, a lot of it was off ball, which he didn't want. He didn't like. He wanted to be a more primary pick and roll ball handler. But he was so much more efficient in this style of offense that we're seeing from your Miami Heat now, as we see how they'll change with Tyler Hero. But not to get off topic, Ja now has, they fired their coach. They seemingly have done everything he's wanted from an organizational standpoint, and he still is extremely unhappy. Now, obviously, we don't know what the hell's going on behind those closed doors. We're not insiders by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still odd as a pretty engaged NBA fan to see someone who was so exciting to watch. Like I loved watching Ja, Triple J, and Desmond Bain play together. And I don't know if Bain was that important to him as a backcourt teammate. Kind of seems that way now that we're, 2 weeks into the season, and he's looked not lost but very disengaged, and just putting up some pretty embarrassing stat lines from an effort perspective.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he hasn't fallen off a cliff completely. Like he still is a tough I mean,
I mean,
the
his game log is not looking real good right now. It
the
truly isn't.
percentages are horrible. I know he's like shooting horrible from three, but I mean, he's still putting up numbers. Like, but the team is not competing. Like to your point, in the past though, like his gameplay and statistics, because we don't just watch the box score, led to victories. Even in the West, in a tough West, they were still competitive. And right now they're like 4-9, and I think they're like 12 or something, like 13th right now, which is and they haven't lost a lot. To your point, like they did lose Desmond Bain, but like he was one of the better two-way shooting guards in the NBA. Someone who could put up 20 plus points, plus was a good plus defender.
Yeah.
Is Ja a good defender in your opinion? Before we switch topics, not.
No, he has the ability to be, but he just isn't quite. Yeah, I mean, he's just not quite strong enough to guard a lot of the more physical guards. Like if I'm watching him guard Cade Cunningham, like that's a huge mismatch, and that's kind of the type of guard he's going to have to be able to really compete with. But one thing the
That's tough.
Grizzlies were able to at least always hang their hat on is if Triple J and Ja were on the court together, they were a legitimately great team. And that just has not been the case this year. And I mean, Ja over his last five hasn't shot over 35% from the floor. It's just been a insanely rough 2 week stretch for him. And a lot of that I think just comes from, like you said, his lack of joy right now. Like Ja was
Mm-hmm.
someone that played with so much emotion and so much passion. And if he doesn't have that, I think that definitely affects his style of play, where he's not going to be as willing to drive in, try to dunk on Wemby, put his body on the line. It just doesn't seem like he's interested in that right now. So, we'll see what happens with the Grizz. But moving on, um, the 76ers, I didn't expect them to be looking like this, even this early in the season. I was anticipating they were going to be more aligned with the Wizards. Maybe not the Nets. There's too much talent for them to be the Nets. But the Sixers look really good, and I think Nick Nurse is doing his thing as well. Do you have any thoughts on if the Sixers can keep this up, um, and how their young guys are looking?
Well, first off, I hate the 76ers as a Heat fan.
No,
Some of the
it's
worst.
brutal. You have to talk about that. You're the one that has to talk about how
Yeah,
sick
yeah.
they look right
I mean,
now.
it's at least it's not the Celtics, right? I mean, we've had more of a rivalry with the Celtics in recent history, but some of the worst fans in across all sports, and we're both Niner fans, so f the Eagles, as we know they're absolutely the worst compared to Sixers fans.
Facts.
But
Facts.
um, they're an interesting team. They're 7-4. They're third in the East right now, and Tyrese Maxey looks like a superstar. He's averaging 32 points, 5 rebounds, 8.3 assists, while shooting 44% from deep, which is insane.
Insane.
VJ Edgecombe looks like he could be rookie of the year. He reminds me kind of like a Dwayne Wade type of slashing, super athletic shooting guard that like has the ability to shoot. Like he's gonna have to work on that, but he's already ahead of the game in terms of Dwayne Wade. Like Dwayne Wade didn't start shooting threes until his like 8th year in the NBA, right? 9th year. He's already like shooting threes and is capable. He's not a great shooter, but he's great. Kelly Oubre Jr. has been playing great. Quentin Grimes has been playing great. So their role players are doing well. And they're doing this while what's his name? Jared McCain. I know, is it Jared? His first name? Whatever. McCain. He's only played 3 games. Um, Embiid's only played 6 games, and Paul George has played 0 games. So they're a top 10 offensive rated team, top 9 in scoring. Like their offense has been fun, especially around Maxi. Like such a great 3-level scorer. So
Maxi
I
is
think
so insane.
I mean, what's it going to look like when PG comes in? Um, is he washed? Is he semi-washed? Like I think he's. I mean, if he wasn't made out of glass, like I think that's a common thread that we're not trying to talk about this, but like John Morant has been kind of in and out with injuries, and same with who were we talking about earlier? Anthony Davis and stuff, right? So like Paul George, if healthy, I think still would be a pretty good player. But like at this stage of his career, I think he's what 34 years old. If he can just come in and be that 3 and D type of prototypical type of player, he's not going to be a star. I think he can fit in. And I mean, Embiid, again, I think he's also washed and made out of glass in a sense compared to what he was. Not he's not completely washed. Like if healthy, he's still a very good player. So obviously having Embiid in there is hopefully going to help you if he's healthy enough, because we already know his ability in the defensive end. Him being a rim protector, he's not going to impact you on the defensive end and be a liability there. So
Their pace is insane. I don't know what the numbers necessarily say, but when
that
you
too.
watch them play, like Maxi on makes or misses, whatever it is, he is just screaming down the court, putting pressure on the defense in transition off anything. And then Edgecombe is a monster. And then Jared McCain. If you have that coming off your bench, he's still just getting acclimated from his injury and his return.
Yep.
Their backcourt is so loaded, which Paul George has. It's going to be interesting as he gets integrated in with this team. Because from what I've seen, Philly fans are not eager to have him come back into the rotation. So we'll see
They
what
should though,
happens.
because to have him coming off your bench, up your trade value. They need to trade him.
It does. We'll see if he's game to fill that role. I think that's a guy that was finishing top 5 in MVP voting 4 or 5 years ago. To ask him to do this now, it's be interesting.
For sure.
Well, you kind of alluded to it. Joel Embiid is looking okay, slowly getting back into, I think, kind of the type of player we're used to seeing him be. But is he cooked? Is he washed, or does he still have enough in the tank that can maybe help propel this team and make his first conference finals?
I mean, he's 31 years old and he's had knee, foot, back, meniscus, plantar, like fascia. Like it's just always something. Every year, the injuries seem to be getting worse. He's on average played like 50 games or 40 games per season. Like if you look back, last year he played 19, the year before that 39, 66, 68, 51. He's never played more than 68 games in a NBA season. He is 7'1". He is 280 pounds. And that frame with his chronic lower body issues and soft tissue injuries never gets better with age. So is he washed? No, because he was a superstar MVP caliber type player just 2 seasons ago, right? And would have been if he didn't get hurt last year with that knee injury. So at full strength, he's still probably top 5 in the NBA. Imagine him 100% healthy at age 31 this season. If he was fully healthy, you don't think so? Top 5? If he was fully, he's averaging.
It's tough to. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't know. So if we run through that list quickly on a top 5, I wouldn't put him above Joker. No, I think
No,
Joker better. Wemby, honestly, already. Maybe
Mm,
that's up for discussion. Shea or Embiid? I'd go Shea.
Luca,
Luca, I'm going Luca. I'd for sure
Steph.
take Luca. Steph, I'd take a healthy Steph over Embiid.
Oh, dude, but if it was a healthy Embiid, he's gonna average like actual healthy 2 seasons ago. 35, 11, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Come on, like that just like the two-way ability. If healthy, he's still
That's
averaging
true.
even
That's
this
true.
year
It's a big
20,
if, but you're right. It
and
is a big
he's
if, but you're right.
and he's washed based off injuries. This season, he only played 6 games. He's still averaging 20 points per game. His rebounds have fell off a cliff. His defense is going to fall off a cliff too because he's not going to have that lateral mobility. But yeah, man, I think you can't trust the process anymore. I think the process didn't work, and the process is his career is going to be cut short. I'm going to predict he's not going to play past age 34 at this rate. He's 31. He has knee soreness. He's out. He's already out. It's a different knee. It's not the surgically repair. Like he keeps getting his knees surgically repaired and they still have issues. So I think he's washed in the sense that his body's failing him. But if he was healthy, I don't think he's washed. Kind of like AD in the similar sense, right? I think his is worse than AD though, right? He's had worse injuries than
Yeah,
AD.
worse injuries, and if you look
Missed
at
more
his
games.
last 3 seasons, the last 2 seasons, not including this one because we just started, 19 games played, 39 games played, and before that, 66, 68, 51, 51. So I don't know. I do like watching Embiid when he's healthy, if he's not doing too much of his flopping, because he is a fun, like extremely powerful player when he's locked in. So and to see him integrate with this extremely fun, young, just fast, athletic 76er team, I think could be interesting. And I think Nick Nurse will find a way to make it happen if he's able to go. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry that you as a Heat fan just had to do two straight topics on the Sixers, but
It's
they do
okay.
look fun. They look fun.
At least I'm not talking about the Knicks because I still hate the Knicks from the '90s, and the Van Gundys and the Alonzo Mourning and Ewing and all that stuff. The was it Chris Childs or Charlie Ward that PJ Brown threw into the stands? I forgot. It was
Oh my
Chris
God.
Childs.
Yeah,
It was
that
Childs. It
that's
wasn't
a
Charlie Ward.
callback.
It wasn't the Heisman Trophy winner, Charlie. It was Childs.
Yeah, Childs.
Anyway, I hate the Knicks more than I hate the Sixers. And hey, the Knicks, their offense looks totally different under Mike Brown and former Sacramento Kings coach that got fired when he turned around and took the team to the playoffs for the first time, right? So
just
yeah,
such an embarrassment, man. Hey, we got our boy Christy. We got Doug, the
I like that
Kobe, the
Christie.
Kobe stopper.
Yeah, right. That was Ruben Patterson, I think I remember right, was the Kobe stopper too. Anyway,
Yeah, he sure was.
had to throw a dig at you because of the
No, I
Sacramento
appreciate it.
Kings bit there, but
Yeah.
they're playing faster. They're moving the ball. They're letting it fly from three more than before, and it's the exact opposite of what they've done in the past, which was Jalen Brunson super ISO heavy stuff. They used to run a lot of pick and roll. Now they're getting a ton of open looks, and they have a bunch of wing players, obviously with OG and Bridges, and they're just a fun team to watch, even though I hate them.
They
What are your
are.
thoughts on the Knicks offense? Do you think
Yeah,
it's sustainable right now as a top team in the East?
I think it absolutely is. I think the top teams in the East are going to come down to the Knicks, the Cavs, and I love you guys. I love Jaime, but um, I think it's really going to be between those two teams. If I'm being honest, just the Knicks and the Cavs. And the Knicks right now look incredible. I think adding Jordan Clarkson, even though he's not necessarily shooting or playing great yet, but having him come off the bench as a flamethrower is incredible. Jalen is Jalen, average 28, 7, and 4 right now. He's just such an incredible player, just never out of control. I've never seen a guy. He's listed 6'2", but there's no way he's taller than 6 foot, 6'1". Play as good off 2 feet as he does. He is so hard to guard. He's so herky jerky with his movements, and I think Mike Brown just puts him in so many more better positions than Tibbs did. Now, one thing I will say, Tibbs, they still have that defensive identity that he instilled in this team and in this culture, and it gives me a little bit of the Golden State Warrior vibes going from 2014 to 2015 when they went from the transition of uh oh my god, why am I brain farting right now? To go from I'm gonna have to cut this. Why am I blanking, Amir?
What player are you referring to?
Who's the Warriors coach? Um,
Steve Kerr?
no, pre Steve Kerr. Uh,
Oh, what's
they
his name? What's his fucking name? Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson. Thank you. Oh my God, it's reminding me of the Warriors from 2014 going into 2015 when they made the transition um, over to Steve Kerr because they still kept that defensive identity that he had instilled in them.
Yep.
And the last thing they needed was just a little bit more innovative offense, and that's what Steve Kerr I think brought. Um, and I think that's kind of what Mike Brown's doing. I think it's quite at the same level. I don't think that roster is as good as the Warriors was, but I think this is a pretty interesting blueprint to go from, let's cement a defensive, forceful identity, and then let's find a more offensive, innovative coach after we've stalled out a bit, and then that could be a little bit of a boost that they need to maybe finally get them back into the finals after all these years.
No chance. They're gonna choke like they do every single year.
Well, we can't say they won't because they got to prove they could do it first. But yeah,
For sure.
apologies to Mark Jackson. I should not have brain farted on your name that bad. That's embarrassing. All right, and then for our last topic here, I mean, I just want to hear some of the standouts or some of the surprises, some things that have caught your eye after the first 2 weeks of the season. Um, what's been highlighted for you?
Well, one would be the Portland Trailblazers because that's another team that I've disliked, and the only reason I disliked them was 2 seasons ago when Joe Cronin did not trade Damian Lillard to the Miami Heat, and it was literally one of the biggest fumbles ever. Like where this guy said, "I only want to go to Miami," and I thought 100% he was going to go to Miami,
I
which
did
would have
too.
been huge. Like adding him with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, like could have been
Could have
what
been your missing piece.
could have been the missing piece. Like
Ben.
you see how good he's playing with Steph. Jimmy Butler's playing very well with a Steph Curry. Obviously, anybody would, but like Damian Lillard is the closest we have to Steph. He's Steph light, and that could have been the missing piece. So I hated Joe Cronin and the Blazers because of that. He ended up going to the Bucks. The team obviously tanked. They got rid of CJ McCollum and a few other players, and so I thought they were going to be a terrible franchise. They've never won a championship, so they are technically a poverty franchise. Even though they had good years with Damian Lillard. Before that, they had like Brandon Roy, and then LaMarcus Aldridge and whatnot. But
Yeah, the one fluky conference finals run they had.
yes, but to me, it's a surprise. Danny Avdia looks like one of the most improved type of players, like potential all-star in the West, averaging like 25 points per game. Like he's a steal in terms of the trade they made. Adding Drew Holiday into this mix, again, you thought this would just be a player that they add that they're going to trade, which is ironic because he got traded for Damian Lillard. Now they have Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday on the roster. So pretty interesting. But Donovan Clingan, not bad. They drafted him last year. Center, they have Shaden Sharp. They have your boy Keegan Murray's twin brother, Chris Murray. Jeremy Grant's been playing great. Sixth man of the year candidate. They're 6-5. They're top 8 in the West. I thought they would be
Yeah.
11, 12, 13th, not even in
The
the play
dregs
in.
of the West, for
Right.
sure. I thought you could
So
have wrote that in pen.
so for sure that's a surprise, I think, early on in the season that they're actually competitive and a top 8 team in the West.
Yeah, and to do this in the midst of their scandal their coach is involved in. Hats off
Right.
to Tiago Splitter, doing a great job with the Blazers. Also crazy Tiago Splitter's a coach now. God, I'm getting old.
I remember Wade, or not Wade, LeBron blocking the shit
LeBron,
out of him on
baby.
that dunk,
That's right.
if you remember that.
One of the most iconic plays in NBA history.
For
Being
sure. All
honest.
right, so for you, what team has surprised
We're
you the most so
we're
far?
gonna stay in the Western Conference, and for me, it's the Phoenix Suns, just a spot ahead of the Portland Trailblazers in the standings right now at 7. Getting some pretty brutal news, losing Jalen Green. He exploded on his return back from injury, and then promptly re-injured that hamstring, which is tough. So I hope to see him back healthy in the next 4 to 6 weeks. But yeah, I never have been a Devin Booker guy really until the Olympics. I reveled in Luca just giving him the business in that conference finals. But I do have to tip my cap to Devin Booker. The guy is, I think, truly a winner, especially being on a franchise very similar to my Kings, the Phoenix Suns, that are just always a mess. We're never competitive. And I do think Devin Booker actually brings a lot of good winning basketball tendencies to this organization, which with this roster, you just, again, I would have thought I'd pencil them in where the Clippers are in the 12th spot. Um, but instead, they've played some very competitive basketball. Um, I don't know, maybe losing some of the bad vibes with KD and company just relieved a little bit of the tension that was going on there. And I think the other big thing that's opened my eyes is Jordan Knott is a very good coach to get these guys playing the way they're playing. Again, we're only 2 weeks into the season. A lot of this can change. A lot of this will be different before we even hit the All-Star break. But no, the Phoenix Suns have grabbed my attention. They have surprised me. They look a lot better than I thought they would be at this point.
Yeah, man, 8-5 right now. I think. What are they? Top 7 in the
Top 7
West.
in the West.
Yeah, so big surprise, I think, for sure. Because
7-3 in their last 10. Like they're playing good basketball right now.
yeah, I mean Dylan Brooks. Who would thought that was a good piece that they added as part of the KD trade?
Say what you want about him. The guy does just play. I hate to. He does play like good winning basketball to a certain extent if he's in the right role and situation. But he does a lot of the dirty work that you kind of need to get done.
He's your bigger Pat Bev. He's your 6'6"
Yeah,
Pat
he is.
Bev.
That's a great call. He is just bigger Pat Bev.
A better offensive player, I think, technically,
Yeah.
also, slightly. But anyway, I think that's it for our episode of Kill the Interaction. So we will be back next week. I guess we're going to be moving forward with this format and then the previous format, which will be just covering uh, just current events as well, NBA topics. So if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. So thank you again, Brendon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Amir. Thanks, everybody.